was right there where he left me for quite a few months. But now I'm gone. She just can't understand that her friend has moved, or is in the process of moving. And she doesn't have a place in here anymore. This is the most comfortable bed. It has 3 foam rubber mattresses and 2 blankets. The bed is over at our new place. The weather is gone. This is such a beautiful day. I didn't videotape. I need a full-time videographer to follow around. These things that happen are so interesting. But Sheba went to her godmother, and Penny went to her godmother.
I'm in love with a darling named Glendora. She works in the window of a big department store. Eyes of blue, hair like gold, very young, but she'll never get old. Oh, Glendora, I want to see more of you. Oh, Glendora, oh, Glendora, oh, Glendora, I want to see more of you.
Her friend has moved, or is in the process of moving. And she doesn't have a place in here anymore. This is the most comfortable bed. It has 3 foam rubber mattresses and 2 blankets. The bed is over at our new place. The weather is gone. This is such a beautiful day. I didn't videotape. I need a full-time videographer to follow around. These things that happen are so interesting. But Sheba went to her godmother, and Penny went to her godmother. And we're trying to teach Cross the Road Kitty that he can go over to the godmother's house. We'll do that by feeding them out in the godmother's yard. And these will get used to it, like this one with her pantyhose, knee-high pantyhose. Can you see them? She will get used to it as soon as we feed them all outdoors and I'm not here. Then maybe they'll understand. It's very hard, Kitty, to understand what people do, but it's God's world. It's God's world. And everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. And we are jubilant. And that is our prayer for 10:30. We don't say prayers, I forgot. We say jubilations. That's our moment of joy for 10:30, and the next one will be at 10:45. And what are we going to do? Tidy the house, take care of one laundry that's dry, just came out of the dryer, and put in another one, that very blanket that she's sitting on. Oh, I wish we'd had a videographer so you could see Sheba. go to her godmother, and so you could have seen Penny go to her godmother. Penny slept in my arms all night. That would be the last night. This is Office 3, as you know. And so, let's pack up some of it. And let's take a load over. Those are really all empty, except those tapes that have to be wrapped Sunday. Okay, you people are always asking where are the hats. The hats are inside of a few of these boxes. Rejoice that Little did not get hit by the car, by 3 cars. I don't know why she wants to go into Route 66. Why does she want to go to Route 66? Oh. His name is Adam. So I told him, do you know that computers are in the Bible? He said no. I said, Eve said to Adam, do you want an apple too? Well, it took me 15 minutes, but I think I got my bed made, and I could sleep here tonight. I think. I think that's the wrong pillow. Isn't that fun? I love it. I love it. Hi, Adam. Isn't that clever? Let me put up her name and number here in case you want to call me about this. Boy, it's one man. I think it's terrific. And he does it so neatly. Isn't that nice? In the 1980 Lincoln will come here. What an improvement, what an improvement. I should have videotaped it. Muddy rut. But you got a big vacuum cleaner? Oh, isn't that wonderful? And it's all one person, that's why I love it. I love this whole thing. Well, I'm doing okay here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9 boxes unpacked, and I think there's just one more to go. And look, there's the VCRs. They're set up. Some of them are hooked up. The monitor, the copying machine, and desk 1, where we write all the legal papers. And desk 2 is the telephoning, and we have a telephone. We have a dial phone. And the bed is all made. Look how long that took, but it's made. I could actually sleep here tonight, couldn't I? Lovely. Don't you love it, 1993 Lincoln? No mud. Look at it. No mud. No mud. Nasty Natalia, who treats people like mud. Look at it. Everything is perfect. Everything is right. How is this for mud? And you saw my new driveway. All hard topped. How's that? Isn't this great maintenance? This great maintenance. I found that piece of rug in the dumpster. Signs all over the windows. So, she doesn't care if you have 3 inches of fur. It's raining, as you can see. So we'll put 5 heavy boxes and take them to the museum. Then we'll put in some empty boxes. The 1993 Lincoln will hold 20 boxes. Isn't it fun? Isn't it fun? It's column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it's through 14, maybe. And then there's a new column, unnumbered. It's perfect. It's perfect. Maybe today we can vacate. Empties, all packed, going to the museum. All flattened, going to recycle. Look at them. All these people worshiping God. Isn't that great? Look at them. Look, look, look. Look at them. Everywhere. Everywhere. Worshiping God.
Father, we come with grateful hearts this morning, and Lord, As we come, Lord, may it not be that we just go through the motions of coming to this service, but Lord, that we would come seeking you. Because Lord, you have already come seeking us and died on the cross in our place, so that one day we would come to you in heaven. Lord, thank you for this gift. So help us come really seeking you, Lord, and finding you. For your promise is, if we truly seek, we will find. Amen. Please be seated.
This is the mud hole at 29A Center Street.
29B.
Oh, thank you. 29B. We're going inside and videotape the inside of the...
She doesn't mind, but
What, honey?
that we are videotaped, but she doesn't.
I leave this here for you so your feet will have some protection from the mud.
Okay.
All right. And the magnolia, look at that. Any day now. Isn't that great? And we're entering the back door.
Should we go in Sheba's room first?
Yeah, we're going to Sheba's room first.
Empty.
Ceilings are fine. Do you see any spots, anything bad? I don't.
No, I see everything
No.
like it was before.
Those were there when we came here. We never took them down because they would ruin the wall. This closet is fine.
That was there. Everything.
This piece came off. It goes up there at the end. And it goes right there. Oh, what do we got over here? Is this closet good? You want to open a door?
Sure. Can I watch?
Easy. Oh, this goes off the roller. Oh, and it's so long to get it back on. Thank you. That's good. I don't see anything wrong there, do you?
Oh, I know. There's a Christmas decoration.
Oh. Oh no, that's little Chase's toy. Yes, it is Christmas, but he loves that toy. Would you please put it outdoors for him? So everything's fine in
Yeah, in this
Office 3. This has been a wonderful washer and dryer. Wonderful. Everything fine in the bathroom, right? Oh, would you bring out that board? See that floorboard? Because the floor, yeah, right there. The floor is caving in, and that floorboard kept it from caving in while I was standing on it. So there's the closet covered. Thank you. How's the hall look, kids?
Very good.
I don't see. Here's a nice furnace. Oh, thank you, furnace. You kept us so nice and warm. Goodbye, furnace. Thank you. And here's office 2, which is a nice little room. This was an oven closet that kept my winter coat warm and dry.
Wow.
These
What
drawers
was
are
that?
all empty.
What was that? That was from Sarah's house.
What's what, honey? That
This
thing?
was Sarah's room.
That's something for the lights, isn't it? Or over the bed or something?
I don't know, but this was Sarah's room. I know that. Maybe
Okay,
that
do you see anything wrong with the ceilings?
No.
Nothing's wrong with the floor?
Perfectly fine. I don't get it.
Except the mud that comes in from the mud hole. Now this was our...
Best thing, you forgot your cross. It was on the ground.
Oh, thank you for my cross. That would have been good to leave for somebody. I don't see anything wrong here, do you?
There's cat food.
Yeah, we better take that out.
Cat food. Do you need the dish liquid thing?
Thank you. Yeah.
What about that scrubber?
Yeah, now look at that. What?
The scrubber. Those things
Oh,
like
guess what? We forgot to unload the refrigerator.
What the?
Okay, let's go get a, yeah, let's go get a box. We got our turnip. Anyway, this is all videotaped and it's fine, right? Do you see any damage?
Yeah, there's a little because there's holes in the wall.
Yeah, they were there when I came, honey. You mean these holes right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were here when I came. I tried to cover them up with things. Okay. All we need then is the, a box for the refrigerator stuff, huh?
Okay.
Okay.
Now, Penny!
That goes there
Penny.
to that window.
Hey, Penny. You do it, girl.
Thank you very much, Megan.
Does anyone want to carry this?
Yeah, anybody want to carry anything out of the refrigerator?
Sure.
Well, that's my
Can I
ice
go put
tray.
this outside?
Yeah, that comes out. There wasn't an ice tray when I came here. Okay. We can throw out all the bottles except that. Does anybody want the milk? Anybody want the milk?
What percent?
Don't know, honey. Do you want it?
No, no.
Okay, we're taking out the things from the refrigerator.
Okay, so you want us to take the stuff from here?
Yes, please.
Alright.
Okay.
Got some butter and stuff.
Yeah, that's probably not. Put the butter on the top.
On the top of what?
All this other stuff. Okay. So goodbye.
Bye. Bye, Vesta.
Okay, we had good times, didn't we?
You want us to go grab the other stuff?
Yes, please. Thank you. This is a Glendora's opening statement, which he requests be filed before the hearing of March 30th. That's tomorrow night. It's 40 pages long. It's yet to be copied. I don't think I'll have time to read it to you. It took all morning since 6 o'clock to write it. Here he is, right outside my door. What a sweet car. What a sweet, sweet car. A 1980 Lincoln, 274,000 miles. We bought it. Here are the first legal papers in the new place. We moved. We cut the rent by, what's 435 minus 315? $120 a month. We cut the rent. The first legal paper to report to you is Adelphia Cable Company, father and son cable company. Father and 2 sons went bankrupt. Glendora is a creditor, and she has to write this paper to the bankruptcy court at 1 Bowling Green in Manhattan. And I guess the thing to do is to start reading it to you. And this is our new place. The monitor, the editing, the clock, where we rejoice every 15 minutes. We rejoice at the absolute, free from imperfection, free from limit, free from restriction. That's the way this world is, folks. And we have to go there together and find that out. I think things are a little foggy. I should not have left the camcorder in the car overnight. So now let's sit down and report this to you and read it to you. Okay, folks, let's roll. This is the United States Bankruptcy Court, Southern District of New York, 1 Bowling Green. It's not a good day to go bowling because the ground is so soft. April is here, folks. Welcome, April. Yesterday was April Fool's Day. And this is the Adelphia bankruptcy that I told you about. And their bankruptcy lawyer, who is a company called Wilkie. There was a Wilkie who ran for president. You don't know about that because you're too young. It was way back in the 40s. And this is a motion, a notice of motion pursuant to bankruptcy rule 9006B for order extending time to file notices of removal of actions. What this is all about is that there's a terrible, terrible Gestapo law in the United States of America that a federal court, if a case is in a state court, a federal court can go over and take this case out of state court and put it into federal court, and you have nothing to say about it. That's an outrageous flaunting of due process. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible law, and we should get rid of it. We cannot be America until we're rid of that. And so I sued Adelphia Communications in the state court, Supreme Court, State of New York, County of Westchester. And so they just came along and removed it. Not only did I sue them in state courts, but over 400 other creditors sued them in state court.
I'm in love with a darling named Glendora. She works in the window of a big department store. Eyes of blue, hair like gold, and young, but she never get old. Oh, Glendora, I want to see more of you. Oh, Glendora, oh, Glendora, oh, Glendora, I want to see more of you. She's so shy that I don't.
This is the United States Bankruptcy Court, Southern District of New York, 1 Bowling Green. It's not a good day to go bowling because the ground is so soft. April is here, folks. Welcome, April. Yesterday was April Fool's Day. And this is the Adelphia bankruptcy that I told you about. And their bankruptcy lawyer, who is a company called Wilkie. There was a Wilkie who ran for president. You don't know about that because you're too young. It was way back in the 40s. And this is a motion, a notice of motion pursuant to bankruptcy rule 9006B for order extending time to file notices of removal of actions. What this is all about is that there's a terrible, terrible Gestapo law in the United States of America that a federal court, if a case is in a state court, a federal court can go over and take this case out of state court and put it into federal court, and you have nothing to say about it. That's an outrageous flaunting of due process. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible law, and we should get rid of it. We cannot be America until we're rid of that. And so I sued Adelphia Communications in the state court, Supreme Court, State of New York, County of Westchester. And so they just came along and removed it. Not only did I sue them in state courts, but over 400 other creditors sued them in state court. Why did I sue them? Because they would not cablecast a chat with Glendora when they had to. And so this is a motion for time extending to file the notices of removal. It's a law that you have to notify the person that you removed his case, that the federal court robbed the state of the case. And I said, can't you people ever get things done when you promise you will? This is about the 4th extension of time that this law firm, Wilkie Farr Gallagher, through Shelley Chapman through somebody named Massa extension of time they've asked for. And then they'll say, we'll have it done by so-and-so. But that time comes and they don't have it done. And please take further notice that the hearing may be continued or adjourned from time to time without further notice other than an announcement of the adjourned date or dates at the hearing or at a later hearing. And Glendora says that's a denial of due process. Don't try to get away with that. And so I say that the whole entire motion must be zapped as a nullity because it denies due process. The paper had to be served on Robert E. Gerber, the bankruptcy judge at Bowling Green, and I served it on Mr. Wilkie. And it has to be served on the U.S. trustee, a woman named Tracy Hope Davis. And so I posed it all along, and I said that it's malfeasance, and it had to be in by March 23rd or so, and I didn't even receive it until then, practically. And because they are so dumb that they can't take care of an address change. Look at their work. They don't take care of the address change. So that was a notice of motion, and here is the motion. And they said they haven't had time to process and notify the 400 removals rather. And I said, well, you wanted the removals. We didn't. You wanted them. We didn't. You're the one who wanted them. And now you cannot handle it. And it says the jurisdiction is by Title 28 U.S. Code Sections 157 and 1334, but they don't include copies of those laws, and they should. And the with motion, in this district is proper pursuant to 28 U.S. Code Section 1408 and 1409. Those are the horrible laws I told you about. That the feds, like Nazis, walk into state court and pull any case they want out of state court and put it in federal court. They have done this to me several times, and it's usually to protect. I will sue a United States judge or a United States magistrate in state court, and then they'll jump in, the feds will jump in and pull the case out into state court and then protect their buddies. That's how crooked they are. Okay, you know what? It's quarter up. And what do we do at quarter up? We pray. No, we don't. It's not pray. We rejoice. We stop and we rejoice and remember what a great world that we are living in and what a great life that we are having. And specifically, let us rejoice that April is here. April is here. The pretty months have started. You've seen crocuses and you've seen snowdrops. You've seen the weeping willows get yellow. Why weep ye, willow? And that is what we rejoice at quarter up. I think it's 8:45. All right. We're up to page 3. And it says, may file notices of removal respecting civil actions pending on the petition date. And Glendora says, again, you will never make it. Legal basis for requested relief. Bankruptcy Rule 9027 and 28 U.S. Code 1452. I say that they're acting in bad faith. Don't you? And it says that the court of a civil action by a governmental unit to enforce such government units' police. And I make the point that we are not living in a police state. Okay? We are a republic. More and more, we are living in a police state. And we have to oppose that. We cannot let the hoods who kidnapped our United States government get away with this. We are not a police state. We are a republic. And it says within the longest of 90 days after the order for relief in the case under the code, or 30 days after entry of an order terminating a stay. See, in bankruptcy court, Adelphia got a stay automatically. Protection from its creditors. That's what bankruptcy is all about, protection from your creditors. But it has a time limit. And so Glendora says to these people, keep the time limit. When an act is required or allowed to be done at or within a specified period by these rules or by a notice given thereunder or by an order of court, the court, for cause shown, may at any time, on its discretion, with or without motion or notice, order the period enlarged. That means the time extended. And to that, Glendora says, boo. The third deadline in bankruptcy rule 9027A2, 30 days after a trustee qualifies. Well, Glendora wants to know, did the trustee qualify? And where is the proof? Okay, we're up to page 6. And this Shelley Chapman at Wilkie Farr Gallagher says this court is authorized to grant the relief requested herein. And Glendora says no doubt the court will. They all conspire. And Shelley Chapman says the relief requested herein is in the best interest of the debtors, their estates, the creditors, and the equity holders. To that, Glendora says, quo warranto. The period within which the debtors may remove the state court actions otherwise would expire on March the 22nd, 2004. Glendora says it has. And Glendora was not notified. Excuse me. This is the first time I've done any talking at great length. I've been busy moving. The debtors the extension sought herein would both afford the debtors the opportunity to make fully informed decisions concerning removal of state court actions. Glendora, the debtors have failed for decades to make fully informed decisions. They wouldn't be in bankruptcy if they hadn't. Further, the rights of the debtors' adversaries should not be prejudiced by such an extension. Any party to a state action, like myself, that is removed may seek to have a remanded to the state court. I did once. I filed a case against the Scott Lord bankruptcy in the state court, and the U.S. attorney came along, that was Mary Jo White, and like Gestapo, pulled it out of state court and brought it into federal court. And I went before Judge Schwartzberg in White Plains, and I asked to have it remanded to state court, and I won. In another situation like this, I didn't win. That was when I sued a bunch of Pinkertons and the U.S. Marshal in the United States District Court in White Plains. Robert, what was his name? Judge was out to protect the people, the U.S. officers who had cheated me, and he was out to protect them. And so he wouldn't let it be remanded because they wanted it in the wing of the federal court so as to protect their buddies and cheat and lie. Anyway, it says here that a creditor can make a motion to have it remanded to state court, and she says that's prejudice, that's not being prejudiced. I say, oh yeah, who's going to pay for this? And who's going to do the work on it? That's not being prejudiced. The debtors will provide notice of this motion to the Office of the United States Trustee for the Southern District of New York. And Glendora says, look at all the money that your repetitive failure to meet deadlines has cost the debtors. And I'm forever opposing these crazy extensions. To all parties who have filed a request for service of all pleadings pursuant to Bankruptcy Rule 2002, so Glendora requests the same. The debtors submit that given the circumstances and the notice of the relief requested herein, no other or further notice is required, and Glendora says, quo warranto, due process denied, Americanism funked. And this is an objection that a memorandum of law be submitted herewith. It doesn't have to be. Glendora says it does. No previous application for the relief sought herein has been made to this or any other court, and Glendora says, but many like it have. And so she writes her conclusion. Wherefore, the debtors respectfully request that this court issue an order substantially in the form annexed hereto, granting the relief requested in this motion, and such other and further relief as this court deems just or proper. So I changed that and I said, wherefore the creditors respectfully request that this court not issue an order, etc. And then this is her signature, and I think it shows mental deterioration. People are writing their names. Don't they think enough of their names to write legibly? And Glendora says, doesn't the judge know how to write his own order? Are things that bad? And here is the order all written out for the judge, and all the judge has to do is put in the date and sign his name. Do you think he's able to do that? He gets paid over $140,000 a year. Well, maybe bankruptcy judge don't get as much as United States district judges. So Glendora puts up a picket sign and saying, do not sign. This shows no acumen, no acuity, it's rubber stamped, it's railroading, and this is worth $140,000 per annum. And here's the other order all made out for the level of imbecility. And Glendora says it's dehumanized, it's disamericanism, it's ho-hum, it's hack, is this justice, is this American? Do not sign. This was served on Mr. Wilkie at Wilkie Farr Gallagher at 757 7th Avenue, and upon bankruptcy judge Robert E. Gerber, and upon U.S. trustee Tracy Hope Davis. And 2 copies were served on who to sue. Okay, this denial of due process, denial of Americanism. It cost $6.06 to print and post, and it took 4 hours. And Glendora adds that Section 1409, removal of a case from state court through Gestapoism. Glendora says that Section 1409 is an ugly law, removal. Until it is removed, we cannot call this America. Its arrogance is abominable. It strongly denies due process and renders meaningless the Constitution. And this is dated today, April 2nd, 2004, State of New York. Yours in truth and in amor patriae. Glendora, a chat with Glendora on 42 TV stations, including Manhattan, Albany, and Washington, D.C. And the address and the telephone number, and without prejudice. Uniform Commercial Code, Book 1, Section 207. Glendora. And here are some jokes. Uh-oh. It's 9 o'clock. Every 15 minutes we rejoice. What are we going to rejoice about? The perfection. Absolute. Free from imperfection. Perfect. Without limit. Without restriction. That's what we have. And we have to come up to it. And we have to stay up to it. We have to stay on that plateau. The golf partner says, when I make a shot like that, I could run over to that pond and jump in it and drown myself. And his golf partner says, no, not you. You couldn't hold your head down long enough. And what's the difference between a teacher and a train? The teacher says, don't chew, but a train says, chew, chew. Harry used to watch golf on TV. Then his doctor told him he needed more exercise. So now he watches tennis on TV. And the golfer whacked one into the sand trap. And then he got it out of the sand trap and lobbed it across the road and into the woods. He puts down his golf club, he goes after the ball, and his partner says, no, you're not going after that ball. And the golfer says, I have to. That's my lucky ball. The judge said to his golf caddy, why do you keep looking at your watch? And the caddy says, oh no sir, this isn't a watch. This is a compass. And Harry had a terrible day on the golf course. He threw his golf bag into the pond, he threw his golf clubs into the pond, he threw all of his golf balls into the pond, he goes up to the clubhouse, he slits his wrists, he's standing there bleeding to death, and his friend George came in and says, hi Harry, how about a game of golf tomorrow? And Harry says, what time? Marilyn says you're going to have a good day when you go into Walmart and you get a shopping cart and all of the wheels are going in the same direction. The Department of Labor reports that 31 million Americans are idle. Those are the ones who are working in the courts. The Rye, New York Grand Dame asked the recent college graduate, what did you major in? And he said, public speaking, elocution, diction, and advanced oratory. She said, really? And he said, yeah. And now, do you know why they call them grandchildren, folks? It's grand to see them come, and it's grand to see them go. This is Glendora, a chat with Glendora. And now, after doing the logs and exercising the body, we will work an hour on an excoriating paper that a failure of a village justice named George C. Dixon, that he recused himself. And after that, we go back to the Rye, go back to the City Court of Rye, and we oppose the fluff and the inadequacies and the incompetencies of one Robert M. Callaghan, liar for hire for Charles F. Dolan and Cablevision Systems Corporation. I should think they would be going bankrupt along with Adelphia. So, that's our plate full. for today, and all these other legal papers that came in. There's, let's see, I think it was 28 legal papers and details piled up during the movie. But this place is so much better than the other place. And it saves so much money, and it has other advantages too. One is, which is, we got rid of Nasty Natalia, the landlord. There, we just put in an hour working on the Nasty Natalia file, the landlord file. This is Dolan, Charles F. Dolan, and Cablevision Systems Corporation and their liar for hire, Robert M. Callaghy. And it's in the Rye City Court, County of Westchester, State of New York, United States of America. And it's Glendora, plaintiff appellant, and remand Victor versus Charles F. Dolan and Cablevision Systems Corporation, defendants appellees, and reversed. Glendora memorandum that defendants proffered no law why she should not be awarded $3,000 damages as the appeals court ruled. Now Callaghy writes a footnote, and Glendora says if Callaghy relegates this to a footnote, then he knows it's standing zilch. Callaghy should learn to write an integrated paper with no footnotes, but writing an integrated paper requires integrity. They don't teach that in law school, you see. As Cablevision established during trial, says Callaghy, plaintiff clearly is not entitled to damages in connection with any loss or conversion of the videotapes because they are now in her possession. Well, he didn't clearly establish that at trial. And it is 3 o'clock. And what do we do at 3 o'clock, you and I? We rejoice together. We think of the abundance in this world. And we think of the absolute beauty. We think of the fact that this world, it isn't dependent on anything outside of itself. It's dependent only on itself. Is that a nice way to be? And it's ultimate, and it's intrinsic, and it's not relevant, and it's not dependent, and it's without any imperfections. And let's see, what else is it? It's without limit, without restrictions. What is? Well, being one with God, okay? Being up on the highest level. So every 15 minutes, we think of how wonderful things are. Back to Callaghy, which is not so wonderful. Now, clearly,
I'm in love with a darling named Glendora. She works in the window of a big department store. Eyes of blue, hair like gold, very young, but she never get old. Oh, Glendora, I want to see more of you. Oh, Glendora, oh, Glendora, oh, Glendora, I want to see more of you. She's so shy.
well, says Glendora to that is misrepresentation number 3. Glendora did follow the thing, even though the same had no statutory authority. Where does Cablevision get the statutory authority for these policies and rules? Even though the same were illegal and violated public access rights, such as first come, first served, such as forbidden cable TV operator editorial control, such as public access shall be administered on a non-discriminatory basis, and such as the public must have as much diversified information as possible, and such as no cable TV operator can limit or prohibit public access, such as free speech has its place in America, such as public access TV is both a traditional and a designated public forum. And 16 is reserved. Says Callaghan, based on Cablevision policies, plaintiff was restricted from submitting more than 4 tapes in any system and then was required to retrieve the same within 14 days after broadcast. Well, I forgot to mention here, Callaghan is nescient. He doesn't know that cable systems do not broadcast. NBC, ABC, and CBS broadcast. Cable systems send out their signal through a coaxial cable. But Callaghan doesn't know that. Glendora says, what is his statutory authority? What legal basis do such policies, quote unquote, have? Where is the proof that no more than 4 and can be sent out and retrieved within 14 that it ever happened? No witnesses to the same have been sworn and no testimony has been given. Callaghan misrepresentation number 10. This is all in a footnote now. Says Callaghan, see Defendant's Trial Exhibit A. Second, after Cablevision returned the tapes of plaintiff at its expense. Well, now here's another, this is lie number 11. At their expense. It is a lie. The tapes were refused and the postage was at Glendora's expense. They came back through the mail at no expense to cheap Charles Dolan and Cablevision and Callaghan. And another thing, court, Callaghan has no personal knowledge. He wasn't there. I was. He was not there, and this is all hearsay, and it has to be stricken. What is its relevance anyhow? Callaghan can't even get an address change straight. This illustrates how reliable the pablum is. He feeds his court. Look at this. Weeks, years, and he can't get an address change straight. And this causes a delay of his papers getting here 10 to 15 days. Says Glendora, anything Callaghan serves this court is null and void because it has not been timely served on the plaintiff appellant remand. There is a 10-day delay in forwarding. And further, a lawyer who can't go who cannot get the designated name of the plaintiff right and can't get anything else right. Plaintiff's name is Glendora, and in 1 3/4 years Callaghan can't learn this, and his incompetence disqualifies him. Says Callaghan, resend the same tapes to Charles F. Dolan, the chairman of Cablevision, to his home in Nassau County, and an appropriate location to submit tapes for cablecast. Nonetheless, the tapes were again returned to plaintiff through the auspices of this court after she refused to pick them up. That's not how it went at all. That's another misrepresentation. What is that, folks? Number 12? Now, Glendora says the tapes were incompetently handled by the incompetent employees. That would be Brenda Cherry and Maurice Cunningham, both of whom have been fired. And so the chairman of the company is responsible and has to do the work over and do it right. If Charles Doolin cannot handle competent people, hire competent people, then he has to do the work. This is incompetence within incompetence. Now, the appellate term ruled the Rye Court had no jurisdiction to return the tapes to Glendora. She did not ask for that. Since this court is so helpful to Callaghan to serve his papers for him on Glendora, will this court read him the order of the appellate term? Callaghan acts and lives as though there never was an order from the appellate term. That's misrepresentation number what? 13. Callaghan just cannot get it out of his abstruse mode. This is one reason why Glendora tried 3 times to read the appeals court ruling into the record, and the court was wrong to block this. Callaghan has lied to this court for almost 2 years, and something has to be done about it. This is the second time that this court has served papers on Glendora that Callaghan should have served. This court is patently wrong to return Glendora's motion for default judgment. It should have been granted. So now we go out of Callaghan's footnote up to the letterhead, and we say, and he says this letter shall serve as defendant's submission in the above. Yuck. As to what, Glendora says, he was ordered to write a memorandum of law. Instead, he writes an alphosis. Lawyers are supposed to write grown-up legal papers, not baby letters. Glendora submitted 500 pages of memorandum of law, plus 100 pages of post-trial memorandum. Says Callaghan, the plaintiff seeks damages for the time and money spent in connection with the production of videotapes intended for broadcast, dummy, cablecast on various CSC Holdings Incorporated. This is misrepresentation number 14. Glendora did not sue CSC Holdings Incorporated. She sued Cablevision Systems Corporation. That is whom she had dealings with. She has nothing to do with CSC Holdings Incorporated. And Callaghan repeatedly does this. This must be the 15th time. This is the another misrepresentation that Callaghan has been told, and this must be the 4th time that he has misrepresented CSC Holdings Incorporated. Glendora moves for $10,000 sanctions against Callaghan, Charles F. Dolan, and Cablevision Systems Corporation, pursuant to New York State analog to Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, Rule 12, sanctions. This is April Fool's Day. Who is the April Fool? She did not sue Cablevision. She sued Cablevision Systems Corporation. Callaghan cannot get the name of the plaintiff right, the address right, or the name of the defendants right, and next he cannot get the facts right, nor the law right. Is there anything else left? Sanctions must be imposed of $10,000. Says Callaghan, administrative public access cable channels plus delivery expenses, telephone expenses, and time spent in calling Cablevision. Well, we have found no legal support for the motion that, absent a contractual provision to the contrary, plaintiff is entitled to reimbursement for her time and money spent in producing her cable public access program. What is this worth? This job was not to find the same, but his job was not to find the same. His job was to find the same. Callaghy says the plaintiff testified at trial that she had no agreement, written or oral, with Cablevision with respect to any of the items claimed, and she offered at that no documentary evidence supporting the actual expenditure of any of the items claimed. And Glendora says this is because of Callaghy's ambush and ambage. Callaghy failed to adhere to the professional code of conduct, obfuscated, dodged, adumbrated until the cause of action and its trial were beyond recognition. His conduct is actionable. So we've got 3:15 p.m. Let's see. Why do we rejoice? We rejoice because everything is right. There's a plan. And whatever happens is right. And whatever happens is good. There's a good reason for it. And we rejoice because it's so gratifying to stand up for what is right. And it's so fulfilling to stop these people from doing what is wrong. Public access is a grand, grand institution. It's American through and through. And these people are trying to rob it from us, from you. But we have a very good time standing up for what is right. Glendora says a contract with Cablevision Systems Corporation is entirely irrelevant. Charles Dolan and Cablevision Systems Corporation made her this work, this expense, and this time lost. He had a duty not to do this. Ultravirus. Dolan and Cablevision defendants had a duty not to go outside the New York state laws on public access rights. They are Title IX New York Code Rules and Regulations, 595.4, Article 11, the Public Service Law, Section 229, inter alia. Callaghy says, to the contrary, in the interest of providing the public unfettered access to public access programming, and now this makes me laugh, hee hee, ho ho, ha ha. When has Cablevision ever provided unfettered access to public access programming? Whenever. It's been just the opposite. Charles Dolan and Cablevision Systems Corporation and his hoods and Callaghy have done everything possible to fetter public access. But this makes good television to report it. Charles F. Dolan, Cablevision Systems Corporation, and Robert M. Callaghy should have been fined and jailed for fettering public access since 1993, a decade straight. And then Callaghy goes on with more irrelevance, and he never gets down, and he never calls out the public access laws. This is up to page 15, which is about half of the paper, and I'm just going to skip through it because I'm sure that you get the idea. The issue is not the tapes. The appellate term said that. The appeals court said that. The issue is damages. Glendora should have damages. Now the whole nub of this law breaking by Charles Dolan is this. If Charles Dolan had cablecast Glendora's tapes, as he had a duty to do, the tapes, after being cablecast, would have been returned, and this lawsuit would never have happened. This is what it's all about. Therefore, Charles Dolan caused all of these damages through his ignorance and arrogance. And Charles Dolan, throughout his whole life that I've ever known him, is out to break every law he can. He's totally lawless. He doesn't care what the law says. He doesn't care what society has set up. The only thing he cares about is society paying him a check every month. And he will get it by hook or by crook. And he will get it by breaking the laws. And it has to stop. And we are here to stop it. Glendora says, Callaghan's defense is wandering, but it's too weak to go very far. Now, Callaghan says that their Cablevision's policies indicate that it will not pay for the postage to return videotapes. You're talking about a $3.6 billion company, okay? There's nobody more cheap than Cablevision. I sent all of the postage to return the tapes. Now, Charles Dolan, just the way you put Franklin's $350 subpoena money into his pocket, so Dolan put the postage into his pocket. That's how cheap Cablevision is. I hope the court gets the idea. Glendora sent Savarino $7.50 to send back 40 tapes. At that time, you could send back 40 tapes, media mail, at $7.50. What did she do? She took the big box that I sent her, and she sent back one tape. It cost $1, and it did cost at that time, $1.38 to send back one tape. Actually, you could send two back for $1.38. You got 2 for 1. But she used $7.50. These are wretched people. Callaghan does not prove his case. The court ordered Callaghan to write a memorandum of law proving that Glendora was not entitled to damages. As usual, he does nothing the court orders him to do. The court ordered him to do that on February the 19th. What does he send? An amateur letter. Not a professional grown-up legal paper, but an amateur letter. Now Callaghan asks, he says that Glendora has already told us that she's started another lawsuit. I have, because Christine Savarino and Cecilia Mastorelli will not give me the information that I need to administer a chat with Glendora on public access. I am suing also because Peggy Anderson violated first come, first served. A chat with Glendora should be at 10 p.m. Friday nights for as long as Glendora lives. It's first come, first served. Glendora was there in 1995. She's suing, well, that I may let go. Another one who violated first come, first served. But worst of all, she's suing because Cecilia Mastorelli called up Deborah Eacock and got Deborah Eacock scared, and Deborah Eacock pulled out. And Cecilia or Christina Savarino did the same with what's her name in Harrison. It begins with L. And that's extortion. Okay, so they're going to get sued on that. Now, Americanism is loyalty to and adherence to the United States, its traditions, its interests, and its ideals. Glendora gets an A+, but Dolan, Cablevision, and Callaghan get an E-. Now, the Rye Court sent back my motion for default judgment because Callaghan never served me. I was supposed to be served on March the 5th. It was supposed to be posted on March the 5th. I didn't get it until like March the 15th or March 20th. So I wrote a motion for default judgment, and the Rye Court sent it back. So I'm sending it back to the Rye Court. I have a case here. I should have my $3,000 damages by motion by default. Now, the Rye Court apparently asked Callaghan to send the Rye Court a copy of the cable TV Communications Act, Policy Act of 1984. That's codified as Title 47 U.S. Code 521 et cetera. And here they are, and there's nothing. They don't prove a thing. The section is mainly about the fact that the public access producer indemnifies the cable TV operator against liability or slander. But most of the stuff that Callagy sends is about obscenity. And do you remember Judge Robert Minor at the United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, Manhattan? It was oral argument. They wouldn't have Callagy go down and argue at the Second Circuit. He wasn't good enough. Guess who they got? They hired Mark Fowler, former commissioner of the Federal Communications Commission. They thought they were going to win by big bucks, but they didn't. Glendora won. And when Mark Fowler read these cites, which have nothing to do with a chat with Glendora, about obscenity, Judge Roger Minor said, "Surely, counsel, you're not suggesting that Glendora is obscene, are you?" And so I gave that quote to Peter Lane in the Rye Court. So that's it without giving it to you verbatim. And here are my costs, just to write this paper. $23.70 to print and post it, and 8 hours of hard work. And it went to the Rye Court, to Charles Dolan at his home, to James Dolan in care of Cablevision, or Cablevision in care of James Dolan, the son. It went to their liar for hire, Robert Callagy. It went to you, Glendora TV audience, and you're the most important one on the list. And it went to the Center for Judicial Accountability Incorporated. It went to McDermott, and it went to Zabby. McDermott and Zabby being great public defenders of your rights. All right, and I guess that's time for jokes. The Labor Department reports that 31 million Americans are idle. Those are the people who work for the courts. The Rye Grand Dame asked the recent college graduate, "What did you major in?" Said he, "I majored in public speaking, and in diction, and in elocution, and in advanced oratory." And she said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah." Why do they call them grandchildren? It's grand to see them come, and it's grand to see them go. And the golfer says, "When I make a shot like that, I could go over there and jump into that pond and drown myself." And his partner says, "No, not you. You couldn't hold your head down long enough." What's the difference between a teacher and a train? A teacher says, "Don't chew," and a train says, "Chew, chew." And Harry used to watch golf on TV. His doctor said he needed more exercise, so now he watches tennis on TV. And John had a bad day in the golf course, and he threw his golf clubs into the pond. He threw his golf bag into the pond. He threw his golf clubs into the pond. He goes up to the clubhouse. He slits his wrist. He's standing there bleeding to death. And his pal, Jeffrey, comes in and says, "How about a game of golf tomorrow?" And he said, "What time?" Okay, this is Glendora, a chat with Glendora on 42 cable TV systems. It's 3:30 p.m. and it's a prayer. I am jubilant because we have public access TV. I am jubilant that we have people who watch it, like yourselves, who call up and who want information and who will give information. I am jubilant because it's April. It's over. Winter is over. So keep the courage flaming. And remember, you're the most important one in the whole world, and we have to activate it. So 28 legal papers piled up during all the moving and finding the nice new place, and all of the court work that had to go with that. And here's some of them done. I've read you 2 on TV, 2 are in process and are worked on daily. So that's quite a few done. And here's some more to do. A lot of these are donations to National Wildlife and to Eastern Paralyzed Veterans. I don't know who could turn them down. And AIC, American International College, my alumnus, my alma mater, I should say. So I've been in for 3 days straight doing nothing but these pile-ups. I think there's 28 legal papers, and now I guess there's about 12 left. Folks, isn't that a cute little book? I'm sending it to my friend Shannon to keep a little journal for me. Isn't that cute? It's April, it's April. The first 2 days of April are April showers, but winter is over, folks. Winter is over. We got through it. God always provides a way out. Here's some chats with Glendora.
And your 9495 number.
Yeah.
And follow up and let you know.
Oh, okay, Tom.
Don't leave it in 2 days and call me back.
I'll call you back in 2-3 days.
Right.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
One more joke. I need another joke.
Another joke? Okay, the Department of Labor, the United States Department of Labor says there are 31 million people in the United States idle today. They're the ones who work in the courts.
Hey, that is so true. I know guys that work in court magazines and they put on weight. These are the court officers. They
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Mailbox 1, Thursday, 7:55 a.m. Best show on television. Glendora is the best show. Should get an Emmy.
Glendora is the best show on television.
Thursday, 10:58 p.m. Friday, 12:08 a.m. Okay.
This is Saturday, April 3rd.
Friday, 4:08 a.m.
It's just about 3 p.m. on Friday, and I'm going to be watching a chat with Glendora debuting on his new time slot in Brookhaven. So,
That's a report from Zabby.
I'm in love with a darling named Glendora. She works in the window of a big department store. Eyes of blue, hair like gold, very young, but she never get old. Oh, Glendora, I want to see more of you. Oh, Glendora, oh, Glendora, oh, Glendora, I want to see more of you.
Are going to get sued, along with all your accessories before the fact and after the fact.
Friday, 8:04 a.m.
Hi, Glendora. I'm watching you on TV. You look cool with a red hat. I like the red hat. And you're touching your eye. And you're wearing a tie. I have a tie on too. And I'm trying to figure out, Glendora, give me a call back when you get a chance. This is Peter Seifert. And I live in the county of Westchester County.
29 in mail and legal papers piled up during the moving. And you remember that pile that was over in that corner? Well, that's gone down considerably, as you can see by these check marks. As I say, God always provides a remedy. And we work on this an hour a day. This is Nasty Natalia, another bad landlord. And we're writing a huge paper that George C. Dixon, the so-called justice of the village court, recused. God always provides a remedy, as we say, and it's 8 p.m., or rather 8 a.m., and that's our jubilation for 8 a.m. And we're up to page 23. My camera's having problems with me. Anyway, we're up to page 23. We work on it an hour a day. This is a excoriating paper that George C. Dixon recused, totally unqualified and incompetent to be a village justice. Hey folks, listen to this. Listen to this, folks.
I'm in love with a darling named Glendora. She works in the Run department store. Eyes of blue, hair like gold, very young, but she never get old. Oh, Glendora, I want to see more of you. Oh, Glendora, oh, Glendora, oh, Glendora, I want to see more of you.
Are going to get sued, along with all your accessories before the fact and after the fact.
Friday, 8:04 a.m.
Hi, Glendora. I'm watching you on TV. You look cool with a red hat. I like the red hat. And you're touching your eye. And you're wearing a tie. And I have a tie on too. And I'm trying to figure out, Glendora, give me a call back when you get a chance. This is Peter Seifert. And I live in the county of Westchester County.
29 in-mail and legal papers piled up during the moving. And you remember that pile that was over in that corner? Well, that's gone down considerably, as you can see by these check marks. As I say, God always provides a remedy. And we work on this an hour a day. This is Nasty Natalia, another bad landlord. And we're writing a huge paper that George C. Dixon, the so-called justice of the village court, recused. God always provides a remedy, as we say, and it's 8 p.m., or rather 8 a.m., and that's our jubilation for 8 a.m. And we're up to page 23. My camera's having problems with me. Anyway, we're up to page 23. We work on it an hour a day. This is a excoriating paper that George C. Dixon recused, totally unqualified and incompetent to be a village justice. Hey folks, listen to this. Listen to this, folks. Okay. Holy smokes. Graduate student in physics at the State University of New York. One of the professors there was Dr. Eric W. Beth, a theoretical physicist. Physics, of course, fascinates me because it tells you so much about the universe, and the universe is God. And so this letter I'd like to read to you. You can look outdoors. Maybe we should go outdoors so you can see the spring coming. All right, we'll do that. All right, this is to Dear Attorney General Spitzer. Herewith I report a fraud. I shall appreciate it very much if you or your office will A, okay, now you've got a good view. If you or your office will A, do what you can so that the criminals will be found and dealt with. B, inform banks in the New York State Department of Banking, which seems inaccessible to ordinary persons, of the fraud. Also pointing out the likelihood that similar frauds will be made, possibly with the perpetrators using a different designation. The criminals use the designation First Union National Bank, but since years, no bank with this name exists. I am the victim of the fraud. The fraud was made with use of a checking account that I have with the HSBC Bank. That used to be the Marine Midland, and I went to the Hong Kong Bank. Do you remember? In Kenmore. This is in Buffalo. I found out about the fraud when I received, in January, the monthly statement for the mentioned account. It contained an entry, payment to STD Security INS Billing, dated December 26, 03. The amount was $265. Unimaginably, the HSBC Bank, that's former Marine Midland, transmitted the amount without checking with me whether the request was justified. Is this legal? If it is, a law should be made so that it is not legal. The HSC Bank transferred the requested amount even though it was bigger than the amount in my checking account, and because of the difference charged me $28 for alleged overdrawal of my account. Folks, isn't this outrageous? Here, let me turn the page. Isn't it beautiful? This is a blueberry bush. It's going to be blueberries. I made a telephone call to the mentioned bank of the HSBC Bank, that's former Marine Midland. It showed that this branch of the HSBC Bank did not know on whose behalf the makers of the transfer request made their request, and did not know the meaning of the letters STD, did not know the mail address of the non-existent First Union National Bank. Later, the mentioned bank of the HSBC Bank, former Marine Midland, gave me a supposed mail address, but the post was unable to deliver a letter of mine, so that address, the post marked the letter, attempted not known. In this telephone conversation, I asked the bank to find out on whose behalf the transfer was requested and what the letters STD mean. The answer was that the First Union National Bank would not be allowed to give this information to the HSBC Bank, former Marine Midland, because of privacy requirements, and that I should telephone the First Union National Bank. I asked that I rather make this inquiry in writing, and the bank agreed to find out, for the purposes, the mail address of the First Union National Bank. As mentioned above, the address that they later gave, naturally, was one that the post could not find. Hoping that the perpetrators of the fraud can be found before they damage many more people. Sincerely yours, Dr. Eric W. Beth. A letter with identical message will be mailed to your Albany office. Isn't that outrageous? Isn't that outrageous? Folks, do not give your Social Security number to anybody. This is identity theft, and it is happening. Folks, I have to tell you that this is the day you wait for, all season long. Folks, I have to tell you that this is the day you wait for all season long.
If you would like to come, this will help our sister church in East Chatham to prepare as far as the numbers are concerned of people who are going to be in attendance. It's going to be a beef stew dinner with dates, raisins, figs, and all those kinds of things that are in keeping with a kind of a Passover meal. So if you would please let me know, then I can let them know how many are coming. And I thank you for those of you who already know.
We're wrapping 40 tapes. We're almost done. And it's a week behind, 1 week behind, because last Sunday we were vacating the apartment and we did a great job. And we took care of the 1980 Lincoln. And this is all we have left to wrap, is 6 of them. What's the zip code for Middletown? This is all there are to leave here. Editing is done. I mean, wrapping is done. Editing is next Saturday. 2 weeks ago, tonight, we took possession of this place. It was fun, and we rejoiced, and we had a good time doing it. Didn't we, Sylvester? Looky at that, folks. That's really red. Ooh, that's red. This is nice. This house goes perpendicular to east and west. The front windows face the west, and the back windows see the sunrise in the east. And tonight is the full moon. Let's go see if we can find it. No, I don't see it. Do you know what time it's going to rise? Or has it risen? No, I don't think so. But we have to watch carefully. Because the full moon is a beautiful thing to see. I see it, folks. It's coming, and it's coming fast. There it is. The full moon for April. We caught it rising. It's not 12:52. It's 1:52 daylight. As Frankie said, makes you glad the full moon came. We need a tripod. So, what is going on here? Well, the United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia sent out this alphosis, and it says, upon consideration of appellant's petition for rehearing en banc, the supplements thereto, and the absence of a request by any member of the court for a vote, it is ordered that the petition be denied per curiam for the court. Mark J. Langer, clerk, by a deputy clerk. This is not an order. It is not signed by a judge. Circuit Judge Garland did not participate in this matter. Why? Okay. You're going to write each individual judge? No. Take a big envelope. and write the story on the envelope. And over here, can't they ever get the address straight? They've been told about 6 times. They cannot get the right address. Okay. So you say, this is not an order. A paper has to be signed by a judge before it is an order. This paper is not signed by a judge. It is being returned to you. Glendora demands her complaint be adjudicated. Glendora demands an order, i.e. signed by a judge. If Garland did not participate, then it is not unanimous. So how can Ginsburg, Chief Judge, and Edwards, Santelli, Henderson, Randolph, Rogers, Tatel, Garland, Roberts, and circuit judges be the judges of Ginsburg, Edwards, Santelli, Henderson, Randolph, Rogers, Tatel, Garland, Roberts? How can that be so, folks? Don't you think you have hit the bottom? Don't you think you have made a mockery of Congress's Judicial Reform Act of November 2002? Let's review the record. Hogan betrays Title 47 U.S. Code Section 521 et sec, the Cable Television Policy Communications Act of 1984. Hogan defies the Constitution. Hogan betrays Title 48 U.S. Code Section 1983 Civil Rights and Section 1985 Conspiracy. And America, he betrays all of those. And Glendora files a judicial misconduct complaint about him. Ginsburg renders meaningless Title 28 U.S. Code Section 352, Judicial Misconduct and Disability. Glendora petitions the Judicial Council of the U.S. Court of Appeals, D.C., for review of Ginsburg. They fall into the deep, immeasurable chasm. Glendora sues all 14 judges of the Judicial Council in the United States District Court, Montana. Now listen to what they did, folks. All 14, instead of answering the complaint and defending, make believe Glendora is filing a case in the United States District Court, D.C., and put the complaint out of the record ASAP. These 14 judges committed 18 U.S. Code Section 1001. Whoever in any matter within the jurisdiction of any department or agency of the United States knowingly and willfully falsifies, conceals, or covers up by any trick, scheme, or device a material fact, or makes any false, fictitious, or fraudulent statements or representations, or makes or uses any false writing or document knowing the same to contain any false, fictitious, or fraudulent statement or entry shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 5 years or both. Now, to give her new court, the United States District Court, Washington State, Seattle, jurisdiction over their criminal acts, Glendora invoked Title 18 U.S. Code Section 1941 RICO, Racketeer Influence Crime Organization. Then Edwards comes along and says they may have fled and made believe they weren't sued, but this is not misconduct or disability. So Edwards is being sued in another United States District Court, making 15 judges in the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia defendants. Send an order signed by a judge, even though you have probably run out of judges. Yours in truth and in Armo Patriae, Glendora, without prejudice, Uniform Commercial Code, Book 1, 207, Glendora, return address. Hi, folks.